You level up when you overcome your sufferings. Shalom. First and foremost, giving God praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Now, I'm not going to make this lesson too long. I just wanted to do a video going into how, when you're catching hell in this truth and you overcome that trial or that tribulation that the Lord brought upon you, you level up. You become stronger. Now, as you may know, the word patient means to suffer. But one word that I wanted to give your attention to is the word tolerate, which you also have the word tolerance down here. Okay? Because when you're suffering from something, naturally your body will grow some kind of tolerance to it, rather if it's physical tolerance or mental tolerance. Okay? Now, I don't mean to, Salakia for sounding worldly, but I'm just going to use this as an example. Okay? This was some years back when we used to eat edibles and shit. We used to eat edibles to get high. And I say we because, a lot of brothers did it because, we thought it was lawful, at the end of the day, you're just eating weed. But, I understand, the brother, Manak Tazakbal, the elders, they put out that decree not to eat edibles because, the shit that Esau put in it, this devil, he done fucked up our food. But this was years back. I'm talking about maybe 6 years ago. Okay, when we were, before the decree went out for us not to eat edibles no more. I'll just say that. Okay, before then, when we were eating edibles, we would get high from those edibles, right? But then one thing we noticed was that after spending some time eating edibles, right, you realize that you're not getting as high as you used to. And why is that? I mean, yeah, maybe within the first few days of eating edibles, getting high, you might get that crazy high, but let's just say if you just spent the whole week getting high, right? For an example, the next following week, you go to eat an edible and you realize you still feel low-key kind of normal, as if the high is not kicking in. You know why? Because your body had developed a tolerance to the I forgot the name of it. It's called Tetra something. Okay, it's called THC. Okay, your body develops a tolerance to the THC that comes within it. Okay? Your body develops a THC that comes with it. So therefore, when you try to eat edibles, you don't really get that high like you desire, because your body develops a THC against it. Same thing with alcohol. You drink alcohol, after drinking alcohol after a certain period of time, you start to feel like, you're not feeling that buzz anymore. You don't feel that buzz that you normally feel when after you've taken a break from it. You see? So like when you just drink alcohol back to back to back, your body naturally starts to develop a tolerance for it. you know. So here for tolerance, it says what? The ability or willingness to tolerate something, in particular the existence of opinions or behaviors that does not that one does not necessarily agree with. Okay? Here we have what? The continue to endure continued subjection to something, especially a drug, transplant, antigen, or environmental conditions without adverse reaction. Like for an example, you might, where you teach at, it might get very cold outside. Okay, it might get very cold outside, and at first when you're going out in the wintertime to teach, you're like, damn, it's cold. Your toes down there complaining, like, bro, like, can we please, stand somewhere warm? Your fingers start complaining, like, bro, man, I know you feel this, but after teaching out in the wintertime, especially for a certain amount of years, you start to grow a tolerance against the cold. You're not affected by the cold like how you used to be. And that's why, like, those Russians, those are some seriously tough dudes, because they use the cold to train themselves mentally and physically. That's why, like, especially those Russian Edomites, you'll see them like, it'll be snow everywhere, right? And then they might like crack a hole inside of an icy river, and then, well, they'll make sure the hole is big enough to where, they swim back up, but they'll crack a hole in the icy river. They'll literally jump in the icy cold river and swim in that shit. And then they'll get out the river, and then they'll dry themselves off so they don't die from hypothermia. And that's how they train themselves. So the point is that when you're going through hell in this truth, if you overcome that hell, you're going to grow some kind of tolerance to it. Okay? You're going to level up. Just like in video games. I'll use video games as another example. Okay? In the video game, you might have 0 resistance to fire attacks. Now, you have 1,000 HP. If you get hit by a fire attack, you're taking 250 damage. Okay? The 200 damage comes from the intensity of the flame, right? And the 50 damage, which will be 10 rapid damage, right? The 50 other damage, which will be 10 rapid damage, came from you being set on fire from the fire attack. So you took a total of 250 damage, right? Because you have 0 resistance against fire. But now, as you continuously fight enemies that shoot fire attacks, you might continuously fight enemies that shoot fire attacks at you. Through the sufferings of feeling that fire, you start to learn how to dodge the fire. You start to learn how to block against the fire. And if you do get hit by the fire, it starts to not phase you as much. Why? Because your body is getting used to the flames. And then after fighting so many of those enemies, what happens? You level up. Just like that. Boom, you level up. So now you gain some kind of resistance against fire attacks, right? So now when you get hit by fire attacks, now you're taking only 200 damage. You're taking only 150 damage from the intensity of the flames, and you're taking an additional 10 rapid damage from being set on fire. And then as you continue to fight those enemies over and over and over, what happens? You level up again. Bam! You grow even more resistance to fire. You grow even more of a tolerance. Because at the end of the day, that's what tolerance is. A tolerance is a resistance. Okay? So the more you suffer in this truth, the more you level up. The more resistances you grow. So whatever trial or tribulation the Lord is bringing upon you, know that it is a trial or a test to see if you will serve the Lord or no. Like it tells you in Deuteronomy the 8th chapter. Okay, the Lord wants to see if you will continue to serve him or not. And there's always examples of men that had it way worse than you did. Look at Job. The Lord took his daughters, took his wife away from him. You know, the Lord allowed Satan to plague him with boils and all kind of the diseases. You know, Job's friends came against him. But look at Job. Look at Job's attitude. The Lord allowed Satan to test Job to see if Satan could get Job to curse the Most High. And guess what? Not once did Job sin with his lips. So whenever you're going through hell, think about Job. Think about Yahushua. Okay, you think Yahushua's life was easy? Yahushua was being tested every day. Demons was probably fucking with him in his dream and shit. You know, fucking, you know, he woke up. He had to deal with people trying to stone him because he spoke the truth. You know, Yahushua's life was harsh. It was rigorous. You know, but look how perfect he came out. So when you suffer in this truth, you grow some kind of resistance against whatever you're going through. You know, you might be driving your car to work and your car might break down. You know, first time that happens to you, you might be like, fuck! You know, you over here punching the horn and shit. Motherfucker! But you know, after a while, you know, your car might break down on you. The fourth time your car break down on you, right? You don't get as angry, you know? And as a matter of fact, you might actually become level-headed about it. You like, you know, in the back of your mind, on the fourth time your car broke down, you know, you're level-headed. You'll probably just laugh it off like, all right, man, you know, it's just Satan, man. It's just Satan. You know, me just send up some prayers. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh's will. You know, I get my car fixed. I call my boss, let him know what's happening. This, that, fourth, and the other. Hey, because at the end of the day, whatever happens to you, man, the Lord did it. You know? So as you can see, you grew some kind of resistance to your car breaking down. You don't get as hot-headed as you used to be. You're more level-headed. That's because you leveled up. Okay? You grew up out of getting angry over your car breaking down, you know? And that's the point. Tolerance is resistance. And whenever you overcome the suffering that the Lord puts you through, you level up in the faith. You become more resistant. You become more resistant to suffering. And right before you know it, you're just used to suffering. You know? That's just like precious metals that get tried with fire and gold. You know? Once the silver and the gold gets used to the flame, it starts to become shiny. You start to see your reflection in it. Okay? So with that, I'm going to leave out with this. I'm going to leave out with this. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 1. It says, "For as much then as Yahushua have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that have suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin." I don't need to break that down. With that, I'm going to say, Shalom is on to the next one.